literally don't give a shit about the sales and all that. The only KPI that we really care about is lives improved.
How did you actually decide to convert a prototype or an idea into a real business? What were the different steps that you underwent there? And perhaps it's also the time to let us know a little bit more about the Kickstarter campaign and the crowdfunding campaigns that you ran that were highly successful.
So the Kickstarter campaign, when you talk about it, so the whole idea was, how do you manage, because there is a hardware component, how do you separate the production from the sales? That is a big upfront cost. How do you mitigate it? And that's why they had come up with this idea as a proof case for launching on Kickstarter. It was basically, that's where you get the early adopters, which are the people that are going to help us shape this product, that are people that are going to be invested in this product. And that is at the same time a way to be able to build that model of we can sell and build separately. That was the whole idea. Just so you understand, and this is what people don't understand, because we didn't give up any equity with Kickstarter. We didn't go on Kickstarter to raise funds. As I told you, I began raising funds recently. I've started talking to some of the biggest players in the world now. But we had done, remember, I'm an investor, and I had done an investment round before we launched on Kickstarter. So Kickstarter was never about money for us. And the priority is not on sales, because after Kickstarter, I literally pretty much shut down sales. And you know why? That's because we learned enough with Kickstarter that the approach was clearly not, let's put some gas on the selling machine. No, what I realized is that even the messaging that we had on Kickstarter, which I was not very involved in the production of that video and that campaign. I was just somebody that came in. I was just like a convert. I was somebody that literally just believed in the mission and just went along with it. And okay, let's spread this to the masses. But I think I had my steepest learning curve during Kickstarter, when people started, coming out to me and saying, hey, this is bullshit. Hey, you can't say this. And my response has always been the same. I always say, there is nobody on this planet that is more consistent than I am. I will dare anybody. I am the most black and white human being in the world. And I always say, I'm either the worst CEO in the world, or I'm the perfect CEO for Mendi, because I literally don't give a shit about the sales and all that. The only KPI that we really care about is lives improved, because I'm one of them, and I have come to meet a lot of these people. And basically what happened was that we understood that the focus needs to be on science. And what I did is I went out and I found the most hardcore branch of science. So I went and I seeked out those open science, hardcore black and white neuroscientists. And they would ask me, why are you calling us? What's the agenda? And my answer was, the agenda is the truth. Like, let's find the truth. And they're like, well, what if the truth doesn't let you sell Mendi? I'm like, that's great, because I'm not trying to sell Mendi. I'm trying to fucking learn. I'm trying to understand, and they would tell me, well, what if we tell you something that you don't want to hear? I'm like, well, the sooner I hear it, the better, so that I can pivot. What if there's something that needs to be done that is completely different? So basically, there is absolutely no fear, because we're hiding absolutely nothing. We know that we don't know all the answers. People ask me questions like, well, are these changes that you have made, are they permanent? What happens if you stop using Mendi for 5 years? You know what my answer is? And I'm sorry if the swearing is a problem, but my answer is, how the fuck am I supposed to know? I don't know. And you know what the neuroscientists would tell you? They don't know. The thing is, the bar is very low for knowledge. But if we all together, completely transparently, go on this journey and we learn together, and we open up the studies and we open up the research, and there's no hidden agendas and there's no hidden behind the scenes bullshit and padding of the statistics in the studies, because that's what the studies are not a scientific study does not mean that everything is, we were talking about Tel Aviv University, I think, and the product and the platform that we're using now. It's like, it's not kosher just because it's science. There's a lot of, science has been heavily prostituted throughout history. What we want to do is we want to put a magnifying glass on every step so that we know as much as possible and we're as transparent as humanly possible. And that is not going to create friction or resistance between us and the scientific community. That is why I told you I have great discussions that will become deeper and deeper and deeper with members of the scientific community, of NASA, of some of the biggest universities in the world. And they are willing to work with us because they see that we mean this approach.
So what I understand is that the Kickstarter campaign eventually was a tool for you to study the market reaction, to better understand how people were reacting and feeling about the product, right?
Look, one of the comments that I got, I think one of the first calls I got was from somebody at Tel Aviv University. And he actually told me, fantastic neuroscientist, great chess player. He's just fantastic guy. His name is Ido Ben Arsi. And one of the first calls I had with him is he told me, I just called because I was curious, because I didn't know if you are this person or if you're out of your fucking mind. Because those are the only two options. Like, you're crazy, and that's why you put your phone number there. He's like, I did the research and I realized this is your only phone number. It's not like you made a phone number, like this is your phone number. And clearly, and I was like, yeah, well, it worked because now you're talking to me and I'm going to learn from you. And my agenda is very clear. I'm not going to tell you, yeah, help me with this and then manipulate it. No, my agenda is let's learn. I'm a user. I want to learn. I want to understand what happened to me. Why is it that at age 40 plus, I'm making improvements? How do we extrapolate that knowledge? How do we apply it to everybody? And
And I think that's very important. I mean, in the startup phase, you have to be open. You have to, be able to accept the feedback, even if it's negative, and you have to learn from others. I see too many founders, too many startups that kind of try to hide what they are doing. They do not want to speak about it. They don't want to share the knowledge. And here we have a very different approach. And I very much appreciate that approach, because I think that's worth the effort, even if it's hard sometimes to hear some negative comments or some different remarks about what you have been investing your life in. I think that's very important to go to the next level, and the next level, that will be a fantastic transition. That will be the scale up.